In this video, I'm gonna show you exactly how I went from 2,000 to 3,000 steps per day, all the way up to about 10,000 steps per day on average here in 2023. I've narrowed it down to about 5 key things that have contributed most to this increase in steps. And if you're new here, my name is Jesse Rosenthal. I'm a personal trainer and online coach based in New York, and I really hope you enjoy the video. And just a heads up, tip number 4 is the one that can single-handedly take you from 2,000 to 3,000 steps a day, all the way up to 10,000 literally overnight. And in fitness, we always say that there are no quick fixes, but this tip number 4 literally is a quick fix in regards to steps. So you definitely don't wanna miss that one. And as a disclaimer, these tips that I'm about to share with you are obviously not the only way to get in a lot of steps, but they're tips that have helped me personally and have also helped my clients as well. So let's get into it. Tip number 1 is to walk for 10 to 15 minutes before each workout as a warm-up. This is something I've been doing as a warm-up for a few years now, and depending on the speed of how quickly you're walking, this could easily add 1,000 to maybe even 2,000 steps per day to your total. And it also gets the blood flowing, it warms up your body a little bit for your workout. Tip number 2 is to walk around the gym in between your sets. Or if you train at home, walk around your house or your apartment in between your sets. And this sounds kind of silly, doesn't it? But it really does make a big difference. On days that I work out and go to the gym, I almost always hit 10,000 steps because of this. And what I've noticed is that the combination of walking for 10 to 15 minutes as the warm-up and then walking around the gym in between each of my sets, I typically finish the workout session at around 5,000 steps total. So if you're aiming for 10,000, it's gonna get you halfway there, and it's really only an hour or so of your day. Tip number 3 is to walk around while you're doing phone calls. Obviously, this is if you have a job that entails you to be on phone calls with people that you work with or clients or anyone else. But if you're on, say, a 20-minute or even a 40-minute call and you're walking around even a small apartment or a small office, believe it or not, that could contribute a significant amount to your daily steps total. Now, if you wanna take this idea of getting in steps while you're working, basically multitasking and doubling your productivity, then tip number 4 will allow you to do this, but on steroids. Tip number 4 is to get an under-the-desk walking treadmill. I got mine about a year ago. I believe it was $400 or $500 on Amazon, but they have tons of different models, even much cheaper than that, $200, $250 if you're looking for a cheaper option. And I live in New York, so half of the year, it's really, really cold here. So I figured even if I go outside more during the spring and summer months to get my steps in, it would be more than worth the investment to have half of the year an opportunity to get in more steps in the comfort of my own home. And because of the nature of my job where I work with my clients virtually and I'm doing a lot of my work on my laptop and doing phone calls with my clients, I knew I was going to be able to use this product at least an hour or 2 per day. And I find that it does vary how much I use the under-the-desk treadmill. Some days I may use it 2 or 3 hours. On other days, I may only use it for 20 or 30 minutes, but I'm finding that I'm using it pretty much every day. I'd say most days I'm using it. And even walking at a very slow speed, a 2.0 speed, I'm able to almost certainly reach 10,000 steps at a bare minimum if I'm using it for, say, an hour a day. So if you literally want the overnight cheat code to doubling, maybe tripling your steps overnight, being able to do it no matter what the weather is, an under-the-desk walking treadmill for your home or your office, it can be a real big game changer. Tip number 5, and this one's a little bit out of the box, but it's to get an active dog. And I put this tip in as the last one because if you don't have a dog currently, it's obviously a massive commitment and life change, but also it is a significant factor in what contributed to me being more active and getting in more steps in my life. Getting a dog will almost force you to be more active, because if you don't take this dog out for walks and give it the exercise it needs, it's going to literally live a worse life. It's going to be less healthy, it's not going to have as much fun, and it may not live as long. And it will certainly get really restless in the house if you're not giving him or her the exercise it needs. And most of the time, the responsibility to this dog, who you end up loving so much and caring for so much, that responsibility is enough to go ahead and be active with the dog, even if it's not always convenient to your schedule. And for me, getting both Nigel and Quincy has been insanely impactful for living a more active life. We got Nigel 3 years ago, and before that, I was obviously working out a lot, right? I was always strength training 5 times a week, but I wasn't doing a whole lot of cardio in addition to that. And aside from those 5 workouts in the week, I was very sedentary. I would go do my workout at the gym, I would come back home and I would work on my laptop all day long. And it wouldn't be crazy to think I was only getting in 1,000 or 2,000 steps per day. Especially over the pandemic when it first started, before we got Nigel, there might be 2, 3, 4 days in a row where I didn't even leave my house back when gyms were actually closed down, so I wasn't even leaving to do my workout. So maybe I was getting in between 1,000 and 3,000 steps per day before we got the dogs. And then when we got them, that jumped up to around 8,000 steps on average per day. And now that I've got the under the desk walking treadmill, I'm easily hitting 10,000, maybe up to 12,000 on average. So there's days where I'm down around 8, 9, 10,000 on the low end. On the high end, I'm going 15,000 and more. I'll give you an obvious disclaimer though, which is if you have any doubt in your mind that you'll be able to give this dog the exercise it needs to be healthy and happy, don't get one. And this goes without saying, right? You know, don't get a dog just because I told you to. I'm just saying that this was a major factor that contributed to my life becoming more active. And I'd even go as far as saying, if you have any doubt that you'll be able to take care of the dog consistently, like if your job schedule requires you to leave the house for multiple hours at a time, I probably wouldn't recommend leaving an active dog at home by itself all day long. That's when they're gonna get restless, and you know, really that's not the way that they're meant to live. But I hope you found this video helpful. Go ahead and comment down below which of these 5 tips you currently practice yourself. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing because I make new videos just like this every single week. And before I go, I'm gonna leave one more video that I think could really help you take your fitness and physique to a whole new level. I'll leave that video right up here, and I'll see you over there.